Hi there. Good afternoon. This is Janet with Janet and Patches. And yeah, he's right over there. Maybe he'll come and say hello again. But today we're going to continue talking about grace. And what's so amazing is that grace, definition of it is God's unmerited favor. And I'm sitting there going, why do we need to have some sort of unmerited favor when we are absolutely loved and adored, where the essence, our divinity of who we are is holy, whole, and there's nothing missing, nothing lacking. That is our divinity. That is the essence of our being. That's our spiritualness. That is the light that gives us life. That we're born. That life is what keeps this whole body and mind going. You know, that light, that life, that opulence and that joy. That's just who we really are. So it's like that unmerited favor, that's who we are. We are the favor of God. We are that manifest presence of favor, of opulence, of abundance. That is who we are. But you know what? We've got these blinders on because we have believed the lies of the 3D world, that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not thin enough, whatever it is, and you're not lovable enough, whatever it is. It's like we're more conscious of the negative in our lives than we are who we are. And that is what we're trying to get people to realize and to wake up to. It's like a coin. It's one, but there are two sides. And so it is. That's what we are. Is that God has given us free will. So we're able to choose heads or tails. So we're able to choose that we want to go happy, holy, healthy, who our truest essence are? Or do we choose to keep walking down this negative Nancy path where we're not responsible for our lives? Everything is their fault. It's their fault. The government, the school, the parents, whatever, the tragedy. It's always their fault. Or you can go here and you know what? You say, you know what? That may be true, but God. Okay, who and what is this God? You and God are one. You and God are one. Here, you and that ego are one. And we'll just put them aside, We're going to look here at the positive. I recently shared with one of my students that, you go into the nursing home. I used to be a recreational director for a short time. And, it's one of the things I learned. You never ask an older person, well, how are you? They will sit there and give you a list of their aches, their pains, their medications, and their relatives they're abusing them and and stuff like. You never ask that. How are you? What is their focus? Their focus is on this negative Nancy. I'm not responsible for my life, for my health, for my wealth, for my relationships. You're always putting the blame out there instead of recognizing who you really are. You are absolutely wonderful and adored. And unfortunately, it does take a while. It does take persistence. It does take discipline to rewire the program up here. If you don't like the life you live, you know what? You gotta go. It's like you're going to a movie theater. If you don't like that movie, get up, get out, and go to a movie that you want to see. That's what your life is like. If you don't like your life, get up, get out, and start living, believing, and seeing yourself in the life that you want. Because what you want is really the essence, the divinity of who you are. So I hope that has been an encouragement and enlightening and hopefully an understanding more and more that we keep seeing ourselves as human and victims to government and to the, what's going on and everything. No. You say, how can that be? How can that not be? Because you are allowing that government, that a person, that your job, whatever it is, to be on a pedestal and rule your life. You have put this negative thing. You have empowered them. You've put them on a pedestal in your life. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, no matter what it is, maybe it's your wife or your husband, maybe it's the kids. You have put that negative circumstance and on a pedestal in your life. And you are worried about it, you're anxious about it, you're saying, oh, this is no way, it's never going to work, and stuff like that. And meanwhile, this little voice inside says, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Just get up, get out of that movie theater, get out of that movie, and choose another one. Choose who you are. You have got to sit down, take some and say, who am I? You have got to realize who you are. Your self-identity is nothing less than God, that fractal of God. How do you think, you came to be? You didn't just come out of nothingness. Nothingness comes out of nothing because there is nothing. There's always there is this life and there is this choice that you get to make in your life. And yes, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging in the beginning because you're reprogramming this mind. You're getting up and you're making the decision. Get up out of that seat. You don't like the movie. You don't like what's going on in your life. Get up, get out, and decide who you are, what you want, who you want to be, etc., etc., etc. Make a list. I say, this is my dream life. And you know what? Then you start programming your mind. And how do you do that? Well, look, there's this thing called mantras. And you know what? When you have found something that you really like and you really enjoy doing, it is no problem for you to connect the desire with the heart. The heart is where the emotion comes. It's like the seed is implanted in the womb. That's exactly what it is. The seed, the desire is planted in the womb of the heart. And that heart is what gives it life. Just like a man and a woman. He's got the seed, she's got the womb. And then when it comes together, you know what? After 9 months or so, you got, ta-da! You got your baby. Same thing. You got the desire. Plant it in your heart. And you know what? You just keep on meditating. You keep seeing yourself. You keep saying to yourself. You talk to yourself. It's God talk. That, I am successful. I am prosperous. Everything I put to, and you know what? It's just like when you try to put that mantle of, I'm so loved by God, in the beginning, it is just going to feel so uncomfortable and you're going to say, this is ridiculous. But that's the way the Spirit works. It's not the way the street. I mean, sure, you can go on ahead and work yourself to the bone and, have a family, have a house, have a car. But meanwhile, when you're 50 or 60, you're going to be, you have worn yourself out. We're supposed to live on and on and on and on. And so we take care of this temple. And we are light, and we are the light of the world. So you take care of this body, Don't force it. That's not what we were made for. This life, this time on earth, we call it the Cosmo School of the Cosmo, because that's what it is, because we're learning, as the Dolores Cannon would say, to manipulate energy. And we manipulate energy either positive or negative. You have that choice. You can be in love, happy, healthy, prosperous, joyful, or you can be sick, prosperous, lonely, and nothing really means much to you except maybe making more money, ego, okay? This is where there's love, there's joy, there's peace. And when you first sang those mantras, it's like putting on that cape of, I am so loved by God. And you just kind of start believing it. You're believing it because you're reprogramming this thing up here. You're changing the movie theater from that to what you want. Boom. And so it takes a while. So you persist, because I promise you, it is well worth it. It is well worth it. Your life will be so much more joyful and full of peace. And that is the beginning. That is just the beginning. When you know that you're loved. And you know what? That's grace. Grace is always with you, in you, for you, around you. But God, open up your eyes. See, this is love. This is grace. I live and move and have my being in Him. And in Him, I am in Him, and He is in me, and we are one. Mwah! I love you. You have a great and awesome day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.